Welcome back to another Market Open live stream. Okay, we've got some mixedness today, and this is we're going right into the start of the Jackson Hole Symposium, which is where Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell will be chatting about the economy and the state of the market, likely giving us hints on things like interest rates and a taper. So, market appears to be a little bit nervous, kind of going into Jerome's speech, which his speech is tomorrow. Let's take a look at what some of the stocks are doing today and try to figure out what the tendencies are today. So let's go ahead and start right over here. So let's start with winners today. Look at this. This is literally what's happening. So it's so funny. Every morning, it's like you have a different stock that has just been beat to crap start rallying. Like I think I've said this like 3 days in a row now, but you could probably just place bets on 3 or 4 really beat up stocks and just trade them as soon as they start running like this. I mean, look at this. Lordstown yesterday was down 4%. Now all of a sudden the trader world is like, oh, let's prop up Lordstown a little bit, right? Boom, 23%. So kind of interesting. Even same thing with Build-A-Bear here. Zom was up yesterday, up a second day in a row. Pretty neat. Naked, and this is pretty rare, is actually up for the 3rd day in a row. That's rare. Usually these things, they get hit, they skyrocket, and that's it. Then we got Salesforce, Cheesecake, Etsy, some more minor moves here, but that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and jump on over here on this side, which is where we have rotating to the downside crypto. So crypto must not be doing great if HUD-8's down 3.69%. Riot Blockchain on the downside. You've got Nordstrom, after falling 17.64%, falling another 2.4%. See, here's AMC, closed down yesterday. It had its 1-day run. It's 20%. Then now it's down 0.68%. Now it's down 2.75 in the pre-market. It's literally like, here's we have 1 day here, and the crowd. I think the way to picture it is, imagine you just have like this like you're playing Farmville or something, and every plot is like a different stock, and then you just have this like this group of animals that just kind of go, let's go over here to this one. Okay, now let's go over here, and now let's go over here and here. It's crazy. Like they don't seem to stick around long, but that's okay. That's the state of this market. So okay, good. A little, I would say there's more red today than we've had in previous days here. And that maybe as we go into this meeting, there's more uncertainty. Market does not like uncertainty. I like uncertainty because you can buy the dip. But look at this. You go to the 30-minute chart over here. Perfect bounce off our line over here. We saw this yesterday. Look at it basically play our second line right here and our first line. It's almost like it fell to our first line, fell to the bottom line, played within here, and that's basically where we're playing now. That's incredible. Hey, if you want to get 40% off the program on stocks and psychology of money for trading, options, stocks, whatever, or any of my other programs, check out that link down below to get 40% off using that coupon code Jack's Birthday. All right, let's go ahead and check out some headlines. Ethereum's might break 3,000 to the downside today. Let's go ahead and check to see what else is going on. All right, here we go. All right, U.S. unemployment claims rose slightly last week. It's not so good. Futures dip among hawkish comments before Fed event. Ooh, I want to hear. All right, futures dropped on Thursday as markets remained cautious ahead of a Fed Reserve gathering that may provide more clues about its approach to paring stimulus. Contracts for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 declined as non-voting members of the FOMC made hawkish comments, urging the Fed to taper. Okay, who did? Views are split on whether Jerome Powell will provide clear guidance on emergency support, inflation. Here we go. If the market starts to price in a more hawkish Fed hiking cycle, this would be consistent with the upside for real bond yields over the coming months. Strategist at Bank of America. Okay, got it. So they didn't tell us who had these comments about being hawkish at the Fed. That's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't include who this non-voting member was. But they're a non-voting member. Oh, there we go. Fed's George. Okay. Here we go. Esther George. I don't think it changes my calculus that it is time to begin making those adjustments, given the gains we've seen so far, George said in a Bloomberg TV interview conducted Wednesday evening. All right. I think it's important we get started and the conditions of pace, timing of when we end. Oh, okay. Get started and the conditions of. I think it's important to get started and the conditions of pace and timing of when we end. I'm open-minded to listening to debates around that. Okay. Wow. A little tricky, but in other words, start tapering and then figure out the taper together is just this person's. You don't hear much from George usually, Esther George. But that's interesting. Hybrid work revolution is already transforming economies. Transforming economies. I mean, I know changing business, but let's see here. A hybrid work revolution is already transforming economies. Rare opportunities to kickstart sluggish economies. Really, you don't know how worrisome. It's not worrisome. It is to breathe air. Okay, let's see here. This is gonna be a big old piece, isn't it? I just want to know how they're talking about economic transformation. Let me type in transform. There we go. Today's white-collar staff are living through a radical transformation of professional life, one economist say is already beginning to jumpstart economic productivity and accelerate innovation. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, here. While a more permanent transformation of working life will have painful consequences for many inner-city businesses, economists see a recalibration underway that can revitalize smaller towns and suburbs. New digital tools mean that retail and hospitality, as well as knowledge-intensive industries, are already undergoing far-reaching change. Working from home around 1 day a week will boost productivity by 4.8%. Wow, that's actually incredible. If everybody's productivity went up, 4% or whatever, that's interesting. The transformation will deliver enduring benefits. The positive consequences will be there indefinitely. In remarks on August 17th, Fed Chair Jerome Powell alluded to a fundamental shift. I think we know that we're not simply going to the economy we had before the pandemic. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's a good point. See, like, a bunch of productivity, people being more productive at home could ricochet through the entire economy and just make every company more efficient virtually. It's incredible. Bitcoin's rally may be running out of steam. Ooh. Delta Airlines to impose monthly surcharge on unvaccinated employees. Oh yeah, they're charging them more for insurance. It's kind of like a reverse incentive. Nurses who won't vax threaten staffing shortages. Crypto savvy U.S. senator sees future in Wyoming. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Let's go peek at Webull here. Yeah, crypto's still stable right now. Cardano at 257, finally dropping a bit. The $3. It ran to $3 so fast. Crazy. Lots of Snowflake. See, this is like a normal movement. 4.8% on Snowflake. This over here is just like momentum. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes people get insulted when I call their stocks a momentum stock. And I'm like, look, I could fundamental analysis your stock until I'm blue in the face. It's not going to change anything if it's a momentum stock. Yeah, Salesforce did well. Salesforce did well. If you had conviction, you wouldn't be so afraid. Well, yeah, that's true. I don't think you're talking about me. Oh, thanks about the debate. Yeah, I gotta post that video on the channel. The debate was fun. So yes, I'll post that after this. All right. Oh, this is interesting. Wait a minute. Margin. FINRA. All right. Whoa. We finally, folks, just had a rotation in the market. I've been waiting for this to happen. Because I was starting to get nervous about this. The leverage can't keep going up in the market. Like, people have to pay down their debt. They have to pay down their margin. And if you see leverage continue to go up, you're basically just using debt, funny money, to inflate a big bubble. But take a look at this. FINRA margin, which has exploded to record highs. I was worried we were going to go to $1 trillion soon. It ran up to $882 billion in June. Has finally, for the first time since March of 2020, actually gone down. This is a big deal. In fact, here, this is what 2020 looked like. So you can see right here in January 2020, we had 561 billion. Then we had, once February came around, people started paying down their margin a little bit. You can see that here, February 2020, you actually went down in margin, margin outstanding. So remember, margin is debt on stocks. Then you went down to 479 in March 2020. But look at this. Once we hit the bottom of the market, people literally just kept piling on debt. 524, 552, 584, 613. 654, 650, or 645, and so on and so forth. You can see it was literally just straight up to 788, 798. Then we crossed 800 for the first time ever. And now we're all the way up. We were almost at $900 billion in margin debt outstanding, which is absolutely crazy. Now, what's also crazy is that right now we still stand substantially higher with margin debt than where we used to stand. Take a look at this. I mean, 561 was before the pandemic, $561 billion of debt. Now we're sitting at 844. We're substantially higher in the amount of debt we have, but we finally have a flip. Now, I've been tracking this chart for a while, but in fairness, I saw this headline and I didn't even click on it. The first thing I did was go straight to the FINRA statistics. But this is very, very good. The last thing you want to see is debt going up, especially if you're concerned about a bubble. Investors in the U.S. have started to dial back their use of leverage. For the first time since financial markets were rattled by the COVID pandemic, investors we just saw the numbers here. Separate data from Goldman Sachs, which runs one of the largest prime brokerages in the world, showed that investment banks' hedge fund clients had cut both net and gross leverage in recent weeks. That's awesome. Morgan Stanley has also reported long-short equity hedge funds that trade through it, reducing leverage. We've seen the same thing in crypto. This is really good. Like, this is a perfect, healthy transition for market where you kind of have people hoarding cash. Now, we've seen a little bit of placing of cash during this week, and we wonder how long it can last. But we've got record cash balances at banks. You look at here, Fed, reverse, repo, St. Louis, right here. Let's just look at the record cash balances really quick. Let's see what they stand at now. You've got record cash balances at banks. Investors have record amounts of money, and they're paying off debt. Yeah, look at this. Banks are still at record highs. We're now at 1.1 trillion dollars in reverse repos, the highest we've been at here on Wednesday, 1.147. Banks just have so much cash. That's all this. This is just a line of basically how much extra cash banks have. But anyway, this debt payoff happening at brokers is very healthy. You want this to happen. in an economic recovery. All right, let's see here. More comprehensive data from the Federal Reserve on hedge fund leverage not yet available. Interactive Brokers, which serves 1.5 million customers, disclosed last month that margin balances among its clients had declined 2% in July from the month before. Charles Schwab said that margin balances rose by the smallest pace since the retail broker began disclosing them. Good. See this inflection point right here. This is nice. They put it on a nice little chart here. Very, very good. This is healthy for the economy, unless, of course, it's a sign, and people are like, that's it. They see the crash coming and they want to get out of leverage. I'm less inclined to believe that, although I think that has 30% merit. I think it's more 70% is more like, hey, we're kind of at pricey prices right now, and things have been trading somewhat sideways. Maybe let's pay off some debt, which is great. Maybe you also get some profit taking towards the end of the year, but this is great. Okay, the company was all right. This is the same. Large hedge funds kept their stake in Chinese companies. The reduction of borrowing follows a stellar run for U.S. stocks. Well, not for all stocks. The big loss of Archegos, that was a leverage disaster. Fed Reserve warned in May that the tools it and other regulators had to gauge hedge fund language may not be capturing important risks. Yeah, that's always a big problem. Trading activity has been moderated in recent months, and there was a certain level of aggressiveness in trading earlier this year that made people more willing to take on leverage bets. That's also possible that maybe people are just trading less right now. I mean, right now it's just like we have a herd of animals going from like plot to plot to plot to go buy stocks at various different moments. But anyway, yeah, this is the perfect spot to mention that if you want to get a free stock with Public, make sure to go to metkevin.com/public to download a totally free stock. Public does not buy or sell your information, and the free stock is worth all the way up to $70. All you have to do is go to metkevin.com/public, download the Public app, and if you want, you can even follow me on their social portion, which is I am at Meet Kevin on the Public app. It's also a perfect opportunity to mention that you should check out the programs on Building Your Wealth linked down below. 40% off, expiring on Jack's birthday. All right. So let's see what else. That was very interesting. I'm very happy to see that. I've been waiting for that shift, and it has finally come. Good job reporting that, Financial Times. Let's go to Wall Street Journal. Let's close some tabs here as well. All right. So Wall Street Journal, what do we got here? As Delta variant, let's look at COVID surges. Yes. COVID cases. It's all right. There we go. Should have 3 bars now. 30 days. There we go. Yeah. I mean, it's still not like this. This right here is really stacking up to make it look like we're almost on that same pattern as we had last week here. You think the market will be very sensitive to the Jackson Hole talks? I agree. Yeah, Jacob with $1,600. That's true. Kevin about to go. Okay. Let's see. Your debate last night was pretty legendary. Loved it. Got my family to watch it all. Oh, thank you for that. The debate was fun. Yeah. I had to post the whole thing. But it was very fun. For me. I don't know about the other people. That's evil, but it's true. Sorry. Let's listen to this.
It says St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard earlier this morning on Squawk Box, saying that the Fed is, in his words, Jim, coalescing around a plan to begin the taper. And he thinks Powell will give us a, quote, good assessment tomorrow of where things stand.
About 6 years ago, Mr. Bullard put out on a Friday night Sirius XM interview, the exact opposite of what he's doing here, which is he dropped the bomb. This is him really doing what you always hope, which is a guy saying, look, we're approaching it in common sense. Right now we're okay. If it gets hotter, we can move. But this isn't good in the country. And I think that we're going to have to see what happens if these unemployment benefits roll off. But I liked what he had to say, and he basically says, "Okay, look, take us off the table. We'll be fine. You do your business." I like that, David.
Mostly red today.
Good. Well, you've had your issues with Bullard in the past, so
Not anymore. I've made peace with Bullard.
I know you have.
I don't
Wow.
really. Well, it's like
Got
I said,
really-
I made peace with them.
Really quiet there. All right. So let's see how things are opening up. Some Lordstown, Build-A-Bear, Snowflake, killing it. It's almost at 300. Oh, it hit 300. Wow, so impressive. Snowflake, golly, I remember when this thing hit. It fell under 200. I was so happy. I bought a little bit. You know, always looking back, it's like, I wish you bought more, right? But yeah, look at it run. Oh my gosh, Snowflake is just pumping right now. It's up 6%. It's at 301 right now, 302 right now, and we're about to hit 303 with this pressure. Yeah, no, bobbing around that 302 right now. Pretty incredible. Dave and Buster's, on the other hand, rotating to the downside as COVID cases continue to come in. I'm still staying away from what are they called? From recovery stocks, at least until we get through this COVID winter, or at least we get to peak fear in the COVID winter. Dogecoin 20. Okay, these are to the downside here. Hot 8, Nordstrom, Arcimoto, a little bit of pain here to the downside, but really nothing major. Like nothing, no stock here seems to be falling to the point where it's like, oh my goodness, this is horrible, right? Kind of incredible. eBay, Boeing, Visa, all right, big deal. 0.4% to the downside. It's just a little bit of a fluctuation here as we get into, or a little bit of nervousness as we get into that Jackson Hole meeting. Dick's Sporting, yeah, great yesterday. Nobody cares today. Moderna, Virgin Galactic. Okay, let's see here. Luminar Technologies, Palantir. Hey, Palantir's finally up again, but not by much here. Pinterest and Peloton. Peloton added like 10 points in just this last week. It's incredible. Let's listen to Jim for a second.
I think that the business community used to be so important in the Republican Party. It's not.
No,
so
it's not.
You're absolutely right. The Tea Party don't see an amnesty, but the American, but the NAM
Nothing.
is a, you know, that's a.
It just must be another slow news day. Lordstown Motors, though, just shot up another 4-ish% here. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, not super fast, but Lordstown is rotating to the upside. So is Build-A-Bear. They added about 3% here. Yeah, but it was more of a rise. Oh, well, never mind. They actually rotated down a little bit. But how is it? Yeah, that is so weird. I guess they ran into the open. Oh, I see. Build-A-Bear up about 9.8% right now. Zoom coming back. Wow, Zoom coming back with 4.81% here. Pinterest 1.8, nice. Enphase, come on, Enphase. Pick a direction, 174. All right. Let's see. We talked about the Financial Times. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this was yesterday's piece. Let's refresh here. There we go. Okay. China tech rally snaps as TikTok rival falls 12%. Ugh. Yeah, how is DD doing today? Let's take a peek at that. Some of the Chinese stocks. How are they doing? DD's okay. Up 2.24%. JD.com. It's also up a little bit. Baba's down. Okay, so a little mixed here. Nothing major. ZM was upgraded today. Growth fears overblown. Oh, interesting. Etsy spiking. Let's see. Oh, wow. Here comes euphoria. Watch, Etsy just runs to like 230. It's going to be great. And then I'll dump my options. Yeah. Awesome. Then we just need Tesla to run. Ooh, that's good on Etsy. I like Etsy. All right, what else here? Really boring week in terms of news. Like, I hate to say it, but it's been very news boring. Upwardly revised GDP data show. Oh, that's interesting. U.S. economy grew a bit faster in the spring than previously estimated. Oh, I've reached my article limit. How rude. Fine, then I'll go patronize someone else. I thought I had a login for them. U.S. GDP data. I subscribe to like 50 different publications. It's crazy. All right, fine. Oh, they're the only ones showing this. Well, I could go on Bloomberg. U.S. second quarter growth likely to be revised higher 6 days ago. And now it got revised higher. All right. Good. What are they possibly talking about?
Alternative assets, permanent
So
capital.
who do you think has got the best model?
Who do I think has the best? I'm not going to
I
offer an
thought you would just say
opinion on
Morgan
that.
Stanley. I just because
Really?
Well, I know that you like sticky money. They have sticky money.
They do have sticky money, and they have diverged significantly. Although interestingly, Goldman and Morgan Stanley stock prices are up within a few percent of each other on the year, the same amount, 57.
Brian Moynihan should be brought in the conversation. He's doing such a great job. I'll tell you. When I look at these companies, I just think
He's been in that job
they
for
can
a
buy
long
back
time,
stock. It's the only additive right now for buy back stock in Citi. Citi's a complicated story that I don't want to lump in with these others. It's got
Right. Well, we talk about Citi as being the real laggard. Of course, a new CEO, relatively new, earlier this year.
Oh, here's one of the reasons. Noah, that's funny. Nervous to begin with, caught stride, and then they looked nervous by it. Haha, that's funny. Let's see. Lordstown Motors names former Icon executive. I mean, that's a big catch as chief executive and board member. That's what they needed. They almost needed like a Hail Mary person to come in, because the executive leadership that I was at Lordstown was one of the things that made me so concerned about the company. Is just felt dirty and wrong. I don't know. It just wasn't good. Was not good. All right, let's see here. All right. Europeans are flying again, just as Americans are pulling back. Oh, that's interesting. London, European air travel is finally returning thanks to a barrage of cheap tickets from discount carriers and relatively smooth rollout of vaccination certification system. Ooh, you mean like a vaccine passport? Until recently, U.S. and China domestic air travel markets have been booming, with passengers taking advantage of what had been the fall in COVID-19 and robust vaccination. Intercontinental travel in Europe, though, has remained stuck far below its pre-19 levels, partly because the market is so heavily dependent on cross-border flights. Those have been curtailed by government restrictions meant to contain the virus. Now, the fast-spreading COVID Delta variant has started to dent the U.S. and China travel. Okay, last week, intra-European flights were down 27% compared to the same week. Meanwhile, U.S. capacity was down 15% compared with 2019. I mean, okay, so yeah, European flights are down more compared to 2019. Southwest Airlines said earlier this month that the variant was slowing bookings and had triggered an increase in cancellations. Oh, gosh, I'd hate to be the airline right now. Although Southwest, they let you cancel like last minute a lot of times on tickets. It's crazy. We're selling a lot of cheap seats to recover. Oh yeah, Ryanair. No kidding. I mean, I feel like that's redundant. Ryanair saying they're selling cheap seats. All right. Forbes to go public in a SPAC deal?
Percent of the shares were redeemed. 76%.
What?
So you had 87.9% of the votes cast at the meeting, representing about 57% of the outstanding shares as of the record date, voting in favor. Deal's going to close. but it's going to close with a lot less cash than they had because 76% of the SPAC holders said, I want our money back. Tortoise Acquisition 2, SNPR is a symbol there with Volta Industries. That's an EV charging company. 96% of the votes cast on the business combination proposal at the meeting were in favor of approval, but 70% of the shares redeemed. 70% said, nah, we're out of here. And again, this is having the effect of reducing the minimum cash requirement. Some of them are below that, and then you need the company that's being acquired to waive it, say we're going to be okay dealing with 70% less cash, at least from the trust than we thought. I mean, that gets you to today's latest deal. You see Forbes is announcing it's going to go public through a SPAC, Magnum Opus. They're going to, enterprise value of Forbes is going to be $630 million. That's net of tax benefits. But this is what I'm talking about, right? $600 million of gross proceeds and $200 million is coming from the Magnus Opus trust. That is assuming no redemptions. Well, what if you get 70, 80% redemptions on this? Now, I'm not saying you will, but near close. You're going to end up with a lot less cash. Obviously,
I'm tired of SPACs.
And that helps. So this is something we're watching closely. Yesterday, we featured a stock.
Bingo. This comment. That's it. Bingo.
Redemption, but voted in favor and the deal closed. Today, there's another one that I'm looking at, BLUW. Take a look at the shares of this. The meeting hasn't happened yet. We don't know whether there's an approved deal or not, but it's going crazy. And
It's the same phenomenon.
I can only assume it was people who are short who are now worried that you're going to get enormous redemptions, but the deal's going to close, but you're going to have reduced the amount of outstanding shares dramatically. Hence, you're not going to be able to cover and or borrow. That's the only thing I can come up with here, unless there's some other reason I don't know about, which may be the case.
It's a $183 million company, but that's not true, right? It's because after SPAC,
right? They bring in it's the share count changes. But in this case, the share count, who knows where it's going to be because you got so many people. I don't know what the redemption is going to be. We don't even know.
This is boring. Sorry. All right, let's pull off of this redemption talk and just look at some of the things that are flying right now. Like all of a sudden, Etsy just took off here. I was just looking at this. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, why? Let me see here. Let me get rid of this little banner thing here. Yeah, I don't generally do beverage companies. Yeah, so I just want to look at this. All right, so let's see here. Options. Etsy. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, I like Etsy. Cool. So yeah, I don't know. 212. Nice. And this has had a tendency of running to about 230. I think even like 238 before. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. 251 at one point. That's incredible. So definitely still got some room to run. Oh, wow. Let's see here. What else do we have? Zom and Lordstown. They did well here. Build-A-Bear went up nicely. 14%. Yeah, Etsy's up here with Snowflake all of a sudden. Great. Peloton almost back to 120. Very good. It keeps bouncing off 120 though. It gets to 120 and then it goes back to 110, and it's just been around there in those $10 ranges. DocuSign at 302. That's incredible. Enphase sitting at 174. Into the downside here. Nordstrom continuing to get hammered here. AMC going down 2.4. Bitcoin, yeah. Well, Bitcoin's actually bouncing a little bit off. Yeah, it is. It's getting above this line here. Very interesting. SoFi sitting at that 1470. This 1470 this is about the range where I felt it had a pretty strong support. It's not a surprise for us to go back over this, but we did slip below last week. There's a lot of fear. Lots of fear in the market. All right. Such a limited amount of news. So let's do another look here. Hold on, let me pull it up again. Yeah, all these SPACs crazy. All right, let's see. I'll try Bloomberg again. Yeah, we talked about why Ride was running. It's a lot to do with their new chief executive. Delta Airline. Okay, we checked that. Yeah. Huh. Okay, we've done Bloomberg, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal. The Bullard. I mean, let's see what Bullard said. Bullard says central bank should have its tapering process finished by the end of March 2020. At this point, we'll see whether inflation has moderated. If it hasn't moderated, we're going to be aggressive to control inflation. Well, I guess we'll see in 1 week. I wouldn't be surprised if Jerome Powell just punts and says, well, we want to see what the inflation data is going to be next week. Well, sorry, not next week. When do we get it? I think it's 2 weeks. CPI data. It's like September 10th or something, whatever's around there. Oh, there we go. Hold on. September 14th. Wow, that's election day. That's later than I expected. That's like just a tiny little bit under 3 weeks. Oh no, are you serious? Where'd you get that, Andrea? I literally said this like 5 days ago. It was like the worst thing that could happen now is some kind of like bomb attack or something at Kabul. I really hope that's not true. Hold on. Let's go to Twitter. Twitter will tell you real fast. Yep. Pentagon confirms explosion outside. Oh, fuck. I was so worried about this because I'm like, if there's an explosion or if there's a bomb attack from like ISIS or whatever, it's literally just going to end up like it's just going to look horrible for Biden. And I know there are debates on both sides as to, well, we couldn't stay there forever. Or, well, we should have left some people, blah, 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 blah. But the point is, this is bad. Let's see. This is just a sign of more instability. And the last thing you want is instability in the region here. Wonder if we could get some coverage on that. Yeah, it breaks my heart too. Okay. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Let me see if anyone's covering this yet, because it should be breaking news. Hold on. No, nobody's talking about it yet. I'm sure they will here shortly. Oh, wait. Is this it? Yeah.
In those crowds are simply Afghans, desperate Afghans that have been affiliated most likely with the United States, or at least they're desperately trying to prove their affiliation to the United States in order to get on to the airport. But if what we are seeing here is some sort of explosion that's targeted a crowd, then it will play into very much the worst fears of people looking at the situation evolve.
Yeah.
There was a real fear that the crushing could take lives, and it appears it already has. There were real fears that the Taliban's deadline could result in a winding up of tensions there. It's important to remember too that we can't immediately presume this is ISIS. K. I mean, in terms of if we are looking at this being some sort of attack on a crowd, that's been their MO in the past days or so, or years, I should say. But there are other elements around there too. The Taliban have been, for all accounts, quite cooperative when it comes to the US presence there. But there's also Haqqani militants.
It's an Abbey Gate at the Kabul airport, and you do have I see the Pentagon press secretary saying, confirming as well. Press secretary saying, we can confirm an explosion outside Kabul airport. Casualties are unclear at this time. We'll provide additional details as soon as we can.
It's very limited. An explosion outside Hamid Karzai International Airport, that is the Kabul airport. The Pentagon has now confirmed this. That's a live picture of the Kabul airport right now. This, of course, is the sole, frankly, exit point for those evacuation flights that we've been observing over these last several days. We do not have any information at this point on casualties, but we do see a new tweet. And again, this information is coming into us by the second. The Pentagon press secretary.
There you go. That's the one I just read off. I like how they erase how many hearts or retweets and stuff it has. Like, why? Why do they do that? Why did they take the social out? That's interesting.
We had been reporting so far. Let's go to Jeremy Diamond now, because this had been a concern, Jeremy, as you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's so terrible. I'm surprised they don't have cameras on the ground there, but I wonder how this is affecting the market. Not to be insensitive, just we are doing a market video. I don't know that there's really anything that, I mean, not that I expected to. I just wanted to check. Wow, Lordstown now up to 30%, so continue to run a little bit. Wow, Build-A-Bear just literally gave up like 7%. And that 7% went over here to Lordstown on that new CEO appointment. That's what they needed. Otherwise, the company is just a disaster. No. All right. That's interesting. Jeez. Well, sad to hear about this explosion. Very interesting. Oh, wait, here. Picture from near. No. There's a picture here of just a man walking away covered in blood. I'm not going to show that right now because YouTube doesn't like it when we show this kind of stuff. It's so sad. But there really aren't. I don't see a lot of pictures or video yet of what's going on. Let's see if I just go to photos. No, not yet. Well, I'm sure we'll get more details soon. It's so sad. Anyway, all right, folks. Keen for your thoughts on Afghan solution, which is why the solution going forward. Is it possible future? There's a lot of work to do and a lot of thinking to do about that, but I wouldn't say the place is right now for us to determine that. The place, or what this video is for, is making sure that we take a look and understand what's going on in the market. And of course, you remember to get your free stock with Public by going to metkevin.com/public. Free stock up to $70, metkevin.com/public. And that, of course, you check out the programs linked down below, especially Stocks and Psychology Money, where you get all my buy-sell alerts and private live streams, which we'll go into the private live stream soon here. All of the courses have private live streams. And you get that 40% off coupon code down below, expiring at the end of the month for Jack's birthday. Thanks so much, folks.